Welcome back to the final hour of Stream-A-Mania. I'm Tristen Law, semi-retired pro wrestler and your host. In case you just missed it, we just announced that Cheyenne Ortiz will be bringing main event conversations with Cheyenne Ortiz to the Tristen Law Show channel. You'll be able to hear interviews from some of the, upcoming established names in pro wrestling. You know, good friend of mine, he was a part of our number 3 and 4. Jess the Apton, she was a part of our number 2 and 3. So if you missed any part of the show, go back and watch it. This Stream-A-Mania is the best way for you to get introduced to the Tristen Law Show. But tonight, we've had 4 hours of debates and discussions. We had 4 hours of hot takes and wrestling love, but this last one belongs to you. Hour 5 of Stream-A-Mania is all about the fans, the people who keep this whole thing running. If you want to be a part of Stream-A-Mania, hour number 5, the number is, golly, I'm so tired, 973-826-0101. The phones are still open. I'm going to try to get to everybody's message, and another phone call just came through. Everybody is calling. I appreciate you guys calling and leaving the message. You know, this is just this is a little journey for us. I'm excited to hear what some of your voices sound like. You know, I hope that you guys utilize your names that you use here. So here's what's going to happen. I'm going to introduce the fan calls. And if you are still a little bit too shy and you don't want to call, that's fine. You can leave your message in the chat. I am going to open, I'm going to leave a message. You can leave a message in the chat and I will go to your message. Ask me anything. You got a hot take, you got a question that you want to talk about until 11 p.m. Eastern time. 11 p.m. Eastern time. We are going to be together. This is your time to be heard. And we're going to kick this off the only way I know how, by letting you take the mic. You've got the floor. Let's go to the first call. Let's see. Let's go to the first call. Let's see.
Tristen, this is Lynette calling from Brooklyn, New York. And my question to you is, in your opinion, which WrestleMania main event is your favorite?
So Lynette, she's calling from Brooklyn, New York, and her question to me is, what is my favorite WrestleMania main event? Damn, that's a tough question. All right. My favorite WrestleMania main event of all time has to be Stone Cold Steve Austin. Golly, there's just so many of them. All right, fine. I'm going to pick one. Gun to my head, pick one. My favorite WrestleMania match of main event of all time is Stone Cold Steve Austin and Shawn Michaels, when Shawn Michaels gave the belt to Stone Cold Steve Austin and left because he lost his smile. That was during the Attitude Era. What was that? WrestleMania 14. That was during the Attitude Era, or was that 14? Yes, because it was Rock and Austin in 15 and 16, right? Tell me if I'm wrong, guys. I've been up all day and I'm trying to make this whole thing work and not fall asleep in here, but I'm here. You don't got to worry. But I love that match. I love talking about earlier how Attitude Era felt like it was booked like a car crash. I 100% feel that whole thing was booked like a car crash. You know, Mike Tyson had just gotten out of prison. Mike Tyson was known as the baddest man on the planet. Mike Tyson was knocking people out in the boxing ring, and he was not a slouch in the ring. I think that just watching the whole pull apart with Vince McMahon, with Stone Cold Steve Austin and Mike Tyson, and Vince McMahon is like, come on, man, you messed up the money. But in the end, Mike Tyson turned his back on DX, Shawn Michaels, and sided with Stone Cold Steve Austin. The reason why I think that worked is because Mike Tyson is a legitimate fan of pro wrestling. Thank you so much, Lynette, for your call from Brooklyn. Let's go to the next call and see what we get.
How you doing? My name is Oscar. I'm calling from Orlando, Florida. I have a question. Do you feel social media is helping or hurting pro wrestling in 2025?
So Oscar from Orlando, he's asking me, is social media hurting or helping pro wrestling in 2025? That's a great question. In 2009, when I was wrestling on the indies, I was wrestling for BWO. Google me, Tristen Law. I remember telling the promoter that, hey, I think that we should put people's Twitter handles and social media on the bottom just so that people could find us. Because the reason why I put my social medias here, and it's funny how I'm pointing there at the same time, the reason why I put my social media here is because it gives you that personal connection, right? The thing for me is that I feel that I like when I can follow my favorite creator or my favorite celebrity and just see what they do. Yeah, I may message and they may never write me back. But I promise when you always message on the channel, every chat gets responded to. I respond to everything on the channel. So is pro wrestling being hurt by social media in 2025? No. I feel that pro wrestling is benefiting from social media because earlier Universal, who was here hanging out with us in the chat, and I think in hour 1 or 2, one of the things that he said was that, ratings are down and they continue to go lower. 100% true. But in this day and age, in 2025, it does not matter. It doesn't matter what your ratings look like. At the end of the day, what really matters to a company is the virality of the clip. Any clip, anything that's super viral or super hot that happens on WWE, you can find it on YouTube later on. You can find it on Instagram. You can find it on TikTok. I watched a video between one of the breaks where it was Solo Sikoa, and Solo Sikoa came out playing with the hand in the NXT set. The bone hand, the hand came out, and he's walking out with the hand, is holding the hand. That showed a personal side. So I think that social media helps pro wrestling because it allows us to humanize the wrestlers. When we get the ability to emotionally invest in the wrestlers. And when you use it to forward storylines as well too, just like when Cody Rhodes got attacked by Kevin Owens over the summer, I think that's a great way to use social media for pro wrestling. So is pro wrestling being hurt in 2025 by social media? Nah. I think just like Ben Parker told his grandnephew, with great power comes great responsibility. You are wielding a power in social media. There are two kinds of people in this world. On YouTube, there are two kinds of people. There are consumers and there are producers. And everybody needs everybody. Without people like me producing content for you, there's nothing for you to do on November 6, 2025. Maybe you would have found something else to watch on YouTube. Maybe you don't watch YouTube this long. There are people, I don't know exactly who, but I can look at the numbers and I can tell you that they have been people that's been viewing this thing since the beginning, doing the 3-hour countdown where the clock counted down from 3 hours down to 0. And I put 3 episodes up there because if it's your first time getting to see me, you can understand what we do here on the Tristen Law Show. People have been watching. Social media is not hurting at pro wrestling. It's helping pro wrestling. It's giving people like me, semi-retired pro wrestler host, a place to give you a place to where you can hang out and talk about wrestling. Because one of the things that I always hate, why is it that pro wrestling doesn't get the love that the NFL gets, right? NFL got its own shows, right? NBA got their own shows, MLB got their own shows, and even soccer has their own shows. So why is it that we don't get our own shows? I put on a show that is TV ready. I want that whenever you watch the Tristen Law Show, I know that a large percentage of you watch this on your TV. So I'm telling you this, that social media is not being hurt is not hurting pro wrestling. It's helping pro wrestling. Oscar from Orlando, thank you so much for your comment. Let's see. Let's go to the chat real quick. Let's see. Fernando says, I already gave mine. Hopefully it was acceptable. Fernando, I saw you gave 2. You gave 2. I didn't listen to the message. I could read the first couple letters of what you say, and I read them just to make sure there's no cussing in them, but I haven't listened to them. But you said not to play the first one, to play the second one, so I'm going to play the second one for you. BC says, don't forget this voice message of mine is not a question. It's a hot take or a good comment for the show, I guess. Okay, you know what? We'll take anything. Just giving you guys the ability. There is no other YouTube channel that is giving you guys the ability to be a part of the show. I'm getting goosebumps by you guys saying that by you guys calling in, do you understand that you could be a part of something much bigger? In 10 years, when I'm 50 years old, doing Stream-A-Mania 10, you guys are going to be like, yo, I remember when I was there for Stream-A-Mania 1. You know what? You guys were super excited for Stream-A-Mania. What was Stream-A-Mania? Just something that I thought of sitting at work. And I said, you know, what if I could live stream for 5 hours? I can build up my watch time and gain a new audience and give back to the fans. I gave you 5. You're getting 5 live episodes in the span of 5 hours. So yeah, let's go to another message. Let's see what we got here.
This is Nick calling from Newark.
What was that in the beginning?
Yeah. This is Nick calling from Newark, New Jersey. You
guys heard what he said. You know that this guy's definitely from New York. Watch, listen.
Yeah. This is Nick calling from Newark, New Jersey. And my question is, what is the biggest misstep in the Invasion storyline, and what you have done to make it monumental?
Ooh, good question, Nick from Newark. He's actually from us people that don't live in Newark, New Jersey. The people that live in Newark, New Jersey, they call it Nork, N-O-R-K, Nork. I call it Newark. Well, you know, it's Newark. I've wrestled in Newark before. But Nick from Newark is asking me, what's the biggest misstep in the Invasion storyline? And I think that he's talking about the Invasion angle from 2001 with WWE versus the Alliance, which was WCW and ECW. In my personal opinion, I think the biggest misstep in that whole entire thing was letting the WWE win. It was a little bit too predictable for me. And they should have let the Alliance win and then possibly allow WWE to work for them, but in the same exact time, WWE is trying to figure out how they, get their show back. I think that WWE rushed the storylines because they bought them, then brought them into, WrestleMania, what was that, 17, 18, and then, the rest is just history from there. What I would have done was I would have stood on business in that booking room with Vince McMahon. I would have said, Vince, there has to be a way that WWE loses. Because every single person expects the WWE to win. You know what? WWE couldn't lose because at the end of the day, WWE already won. They own the intellectual property. So in storylines, imagine how crazy it would have felt in 2001 if WCW and ECW, who got knocked out by WWE, came back in storyline and knocked out WWE. You'd be like, oh my God, so what is WWE going to do now? But after that, it fell flat. Granted, I think one of the issues why it probably couldn't have worked is that WWE didn't have the big stars like Hogan. They didn't have Hall. They didn't have Nash. They didn't have Sting. They had the biggest star that they probably had from WCW at that time was Booker T and DDP. There's nobody else that was that big. That's a really good question, Nick from Newark, that you asked me. What would I have done differently? Honestly, with knowing what we have now, maybe, So instead of me using the excuse that WCW, that the Alliance didn't have the big enough stars, maybe what I would have done was I would have defected more stars over back to WCW. Maybe, those people would have seen which they would have noticed where their bread was buttered, which side of their bread was buttered, and jumped ship before WWE lost and they were on the losing side. So they would have jumped ship over to the Alliance. What do you guys think? Let's see. Going back to the chat, and thank you, Nick from Newark. Stu says that he hated his message. Fernando said, yep, he said that he hated his message. You know what? You may have hated your message, Stu, but I appreciate what you did to call. You're not calling into a radio station. You're calling a special hotline that I have set up for the channel. You're calling that show. You're calling that number. By you even subscribing and hanging out here and then calling, you're taking a chance on me. And I appreciate you taking a chance on me. And I will try to deliver to you and everybody else going forward. Looks like the next message is going to be from a woman. I think that Jess the Apton, that's why I love her being here, because she speaks for the woman. We got one call from Lynette, and it looks like the next call from Stephanie. I can't see what she says, but let's play Stephanie's message.
Hi, Tristan. My name is Stephanie, and I'm calling from Orlando, Florida. And I just wanted to let you know I do really love your show. And my question that I have for you today would be, what would be the first steps if I wanted to become a wrestler? So thank you.
Thank you very much, Stephanie. So Stephanie's calling from Orlando, and she said that she wants to know what is the first step if she wanted to become a wrestler. Honestly, for me, the first step that I chose when I wanted to become a wrestler, I'm not going to give you the long story of how I got there. The first thing that I needed to do was I knew that wrestling was physical. If you want to be a pro wrestler, listen to me what I'm telling you right now. Pro wrestling is the most athletic thing that you'll probably ever do. If you are not athletic at all, the first thing you need to do if you want to be a pro wrestler is go get a gym membership. Go get a gym membership if you want to be a pro wrestling. You're literally learning to throw your body down, pick your body up, and run around and do stuff like that. Imagine you're doing burpees and you're running, and then you're jumping, and then you're doing burpees, and then you're running. That's what pro wrestling is. Go get a gym membership. The first thing that I did was I brought down my weight. If you find that video of me at the TNA pay-per-view where Elix Skipper was walking along the cage, you'll see me. It was a clean-shaven, fatter, younger me. No offense to anybody that's big. I don't want you to think that I'm sitting here with a six-pack and muscles at the same exact time. But I had to learn to work out. And when I went to pro wrestling school, my personal trainer was Apache Dan. My personal trainer worked for Team 3D Academy, which was Bubba and Devon's school. Apache Dan is the original creator of the original American Gladiators. When you watch the American Gladiators, it's because of Dan Carr. He used to be Bubba Ray's father-in-law. I'm going too much into his business, but whatever. But the way that man built me up, I wish I could find the picture. I was built like a brick shit house at 21, 22 years old, but I couldn't wrestle. I was still new. I didn't know how to wrestle, or I didn't understand the psychology. I didn't gather that till later on. But learning how to work out was something that was really important. The next thing that you need to do is find a wrestling school, Stephanie. Not all pro wrestling schools are made the same. Some pro wrestling schools are Harvard, like Team 3D Academy that I went to. Devon has his own. Bubba and Devon, they're still together, but they have two separate schools because Bubba lives in the Northeast and Devon lives in Florida. Find a pro wrestling school. Some are like Harvard and some are just like community college. They're not bad. Some are more affordable than the others. Maybe go to the community college first and learn what you can so that when you get to go to a place like Team 3D, which is a Harvard, or a Booker T school or wherever it is, maybe Cody Rhodes school, it's a little bit easier for you because you already know something. So yeah, definitely the first thing that I would do is get in shape, get a gym membership. If you don't know how to work out, go get a personal trainer. If you really want to be a pro wrestler, Stephanie, work out, get a personal trainer, and find a really good pro wrestling school. If you guys ever want to know a really good pro wrestling school, if you ever had any questions, I'm talking to anybody watching live right now, I make myself super accessible for you. If you say to me, hey, I live in this area, I'm looking for a possible indie show that I can go to, Tristen Law Show Media at gmail.com. Shoot me an email. Universal sent me an email before. Any one of you guys could send me an email. I'm super accessible. If you want to know a good pro wrestling school to start, or you have a question or comment for the show, go ahead and leave it in TristenLawShowMedia.com and I could read it on future shows. 973-826-0101 is the phone number that you guys can call. Right now, the phone lines are still open. Call that number and leave a message for me. You are a part of hour number 5. This is the final hour of Stream-A-Mania. If you want to be a part of something that's history making for not only for myself, but for my core fans, the core audience, call 973-826-0101. Leave a message. Leave a freestyle. Leave a comment. Leave whatever you got. Marco goes, what up, bro? Finished OT. Look, bro, I don't work OT. What's going on, Marco? That's why I don't work OT. I like my time and I like what I'm building here. Glad to be a part of history. Glad to have you here. BC says it's true from Tristan's opinion. And don't forget, I've been Wrestling Academy that was called Word of Unpredictable Wrestling. I know where that is. That's in Brooklyn. Yep. That's in Brooklyn. I know exactly where that was without even reading that. Yeah. So that Johnny Rod's is a good school, from what I understand. Let's see. Let's go back to the top. Heel Vega says, nope. Let's go back to the top. BC said it's quite interesting from Nick and Nork, but between his name and from making me laugh. Yeah, that's pretty funny when he went, yeah. Heel Vega said lots of calls. Stu left his view and he says, great question, Steph. Yep. Heel Vega said the community you're building is growing faster and faster. You know, Heel Vega, it's for me, it's about the community. What I'm building here is I'm building a space in case, I know you're here all the time. I'm building a space to where we can all sit around and get to talk to each other. If you see me in person, you can be like, yo, that's Tristen Law. Don't be ever too afraid to come talk to me. You want a picture? Come get a picture. You want my autograph? I don't know how much it's worth now, but later on, it's going to be worth something. I'm going to be that guy. Let's see. Heel Maker says that pro wrestling hurts a lot. Bro, my finger is dislocated. This one right here dislocates. It's not even straight because right here there's a little bump on it on the side. I don't think you can see it that well. Like, pro wrestling hurts. There's times that I still walk around even though I haven't wrestled in 3 years, and it's like from sitting in this chair, and getting out of this chair. I've been sitting in this chair for 5 hours. And when I get out of this chair, it's going to be like opening an envelope letter. That's how folded up I am. Stu says, I'd want to be a manager, not a wrestler. Well, find a good wrestling school. Stu, tell me where you're from. What city you're from. Maybe I could recommend a wrestling school. Maybe I could recommend a wrestling school to you. Or maybe you could send me an email if you don't want to put it out in the chat. TristenLawShowMedia@gmail.com. And I could find a school that in your area that I think is good. Wrestling schools are not cheap by any means. But if you're not in shape, get in shape. Make sure it's something that you really want to do, because pro wrestling school, it's not easy at all. It's hard. It's real hard. Let's see. Heel Vega said, I was never a pro, but backyard wrestling with my friends taught me better. We knew nothing about protecting your opponent. You're just slamming each other. Yeah, that's what it was. I did it. BC said it's true from Tristan's opinion. We read that already. And Marco said, best wrestling faction of all time. I say 4 Horsemen. Okay, so I'm going to answer a question because some people don't want to call, right? They just want to leave the message in the chat. That's fine, because this hour is about you. So the best wrestling faction of all time, in my opinion, is the NWO. The only reason I say it's the NWO is because once you are NWO, you're NWO for life. I think one time half of WCW was NWO. So I think the greatest faction of all time was the NWO. Thank you so much, guys, for your call. Thank you so much, Stephanie from Orlando. That was a great question. Let's go on to another call.
Hey, this is Dom. I've been listening to the show since you had about 105 subscribers. I love the growth. You're doing amazing things. And here's my question. What are your thoughts on the women headlining the main event of wrestling? Let's talk. Bye.
Wow. Dom says that she has been a subscriber. She's been listening to the show since I had 105 subscribers. I am currently right now at 783 subscribers. I've been going live for about a year and a half now. This is season 4. and I've been going live. When I started, just to give you some brevity, just to give you some understanding of what's happening here. When I started going live in season 3, which was July of 2024, right? 2024. Yep, in July 2024, I only had 40 subscribers on this channel. And right now I'm standing at 783, and Dom said that she's been listening since 100? Dom, you get a hand clap for that. You get a hand clap for that. I appreciate, I'm humbled by the fact that you could tell me that you've been, that you're pretty much almost a day one. You're a day one. So her question was, what are my thoughts on women headlining in the main event for wrestling? When I was in my mind, the first question that I was asked by, I think it was Lynette from Brooklyn, she asked me, what do I think is the greatest WrestleMania main event of all time? And there's just so many to pick from. I just chose the first one, gun to my head. I think one of the greatest WrestleManias of all time is WrestleMania 35, the main event, with Charlotte Flair, Ronda Rousey, and Becky Lynch. That was when they made the announcement that the women were main eventing WrestleMania, I boo-hooed. Why did I boo-hoo? Because I know what it's like to be, I know what it's like to want more and can't get more. I know what it's like to know that you're good enough and you're just not getting that opportunity. Talking about it earlier with Jess when we were talking about in hour 2 about black women in wrestling not getting their fair shake. There was a time when pro wrestling was only TNA. The T for and the A for behind. I'm pointing at my chest. T for chest and B for behind. The female wrestlers transcended past that. You had wrestlers like Mickie James who could legit wrestle. You had wrestlers like Lita. You had wrestlers like Jacqueline, Chyna. Then eventually you got the 4 Horsewomen. You got wrestlers that were Paige. You got wrestlers that were no longer models, female wrestlers that are no longer models. They took the business seriously. They were here because they really wanted to be here. I think if any woman is going to main event any pro wrestling show, she has to be damn good. She can't be out there half-assing it at all. She has to be good. I think that women deserve the fair chance in wrestling. And I'm going to make this even more broader. Black women, white women, Chinese women, black men, Chinese, Asian men, Hispanic men. If you want to be the main event in pro wrestling, you have to work for it. Nobody's going to give it to you. You have to be able to say that I'm better than that person and go out there and prove it. For that WrestleMania 35, Charlotte Flair, she's a dog. She is a future Hall of Famer. She's a beast in the ring. And then with Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair could not have done it by themselves in WrestleMania 35. Listen to me for a second. They needed somebody like Ronda Rousey who transcended female sports, who was the woman that made that she made women's fighting in UFC important. They built women's fighting around her. I think she got the brakes beat off of her by Chris Cyborg. It's not an MMA channel. I don't know. For Ronda Rousey to say all the things that she says about the WWE, she has that bad taste in her mouth. I think we need to give her her flowers for a little bit. I don't think that she should go around and throw things around about how she feels about the WWE. But you know what? Her feelings are her own. And everybody's entitled to their feelings and their opinion. But what Ronda Rousey needs to do is understand that she was a part of something big. Does she understand that I never read her book? Maybe I should get it and read it. I like to read. I got 2 library cards. But yeah, that's definitely a good question, Dom. What do I think about women headlining the main event for wrestling? Let them do it. Let anybody do it. Because let me tell you something, as a semi-retired pro wrestler, if I'm wrestling a match, the match that I always want to wrestle is the first match. You know why? Because I get dressed first and I get undressed first. The end. Going to the chat, Stu says, the grind never stops. We're going to get you to 1,000 subs soon. I only get to 1,000 subs because people like you guys just like to watch me. I am the YouTuber out there, the YouTube guy, the wrestling YouTube guy that says the things that you want to say. I allow you to say the things that you want to say. Maria? Yo, Maria be reckless sometime. Fernando, come in normally at 12 p.m. when we normally go live during the week. Maria and Fernando be dropping some hot takes. I always say, as long as you're not racist, sexist, bigoted, or anything of that other stuff, you're welcome to say whatever it is that you want to say. If you want to come in and say AEW sucks, that's fine. That's on you. But what I'm going to ask you to do is stand on your business. Say why it's fine. 973-826-0101. You still got time to call in. The hotline is still open. You want to be a part of Stream-A-Mania? Hour 5. You want to be a part of history? You got a question? You got a hot take? You got something that you want to say, that you want to get off your chest? You got a comment? You got a compliment? 973-826-0101. You know how long it took me to remember that number? I've been talking for 5 hours straight. My jaw hurts, but I'm here for you. I'm here for the people. Let's see. BC says, damn, from 100 to right now, bro, let me tell you, I've worked. I've learned to do the thumbnails. I've learned to do how to present. I used to work on a radio station. I went to broadcasting school during the pandemic between season 2 and 3, and I worked at a country music station. I learned how to present, and I watch other YouTube channels, so I pick things. I go, ooh, I like that, or I go, I don't like that, and I bring you me, but I bring you the conversation the way I'm talking to my friends. When I'm talking to my friends, you guys are going to see. I don't know if you guys know. I did mention earlier. Fan versus Hater is coming out on YouTube. It's from House of Highlights, and I did the show today. And the person that you see there is the person that you see here. There's no fake. It's who I am, and you guys get to see that. So yeah, from 100 to right now, yeah, man, what I'm doing is I'm building the table. What my ultimate goal is to start a media company. And with that media company, this channel is going to live in that media company. I want people to talk about wrestling 5 days a week, 7 days a week. And I'm still going to be here talking about wrestling 5 days a week, but I want a crew. I want somebody to be sitting in front of the camera. I want somebody to do all the graphics that I do on the screen. I want somebody to push all the buttons for me.
Thank you.
I want them to do all that for me. That is what I'm building. And then what I'm going to do into that is that I'm going to find other YouTubers out there that are hungry, and I'm going to bring them into my brand, and I'm going to pay them. I'm going to pay them to do what they love, and I have the infrastructure to already do it. It's going to be a day. The first person I'm going to hire is probably going to be a salesperson. It's going to be a day. The channel's growing. Stu left his view and says that Charlotte gets hated on so much she's a legit coat. Did an episode about that. 100%. That is she a Nepo baby? But yeah, she's a Nepo baby. 100% she's a Nepo baby. But she's earned where she belongs. BC says, just keep grinding until you reach 1,000. You literally won't stop. And don't forget, I will share it whenever I want. Bro, let me tell you, I appreciate people just taking the opportunity to share it. Let's go to another call. This call, I can only see the first couple letters. But this call looks like it's from Canada.
Hi, my name's Karen, and I'm calling from Toronto, Canada. Who is your favorite pro wrestler of all time?
Wow. Who is my favorite pro wrestler of all time? That is what Karen from Canada is asking. My favorite pro wrestler of all time is the game Triple H. I remember watching Triple H in the ladder match with The Rock for the Intercontinental Championship. And don't forget, you guys can call 973-826-0101 if you haven't, to call to be a part of the show. I remember watching the Triple H doing that era. I remember watching him doing DX, but I don't think that Triple H was great until he became a heel. a heel like in the later part of his career. When he became the Game, when he became the King of Kings, when he was sitting there with JR, called himself the Game, and it came down and said that he was just that damn good. Triple H never jumped off the top rope. Triple H never jumped over the top rope. He never jumped through the ropes. Triple H was nice and slow, and he was going to beat you up in the ring, and he was going to tell his story. When I was wrestling in the ring, where else would I wrestle? When I was wrestling, the wrestler that I embodied myself off of was Jimmy Snuka. The person that I embodied myself with, the spirit that I embodied was Triple H, Edge, and Randy Orton. I loved Edge for his facials in the ring. I loved Triple H and Randy Orton. Those are the three people that I studied. Every single move they made mattered. They didn't take a left step in the ring unless it meant something. Triple H, I think, is in my opinion, is one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. You're asking me who I'm putting on my Mount Rushmore? Triple H's head is right on the top. Triple H, the greatest of all time. Hands down, I'm not even going to dispute that. Let's see. Fernando says that Stone Cold is my GOAT. I like Stone Cold as well, too. I love Stone Cold. Got me into a lot of trouble giving people the middle finger. But Triple H had a longer WWE career than Stone Cold Steve Austin. And for me, I'm a WWE guy through and through. Fernando says that his best faction is the NWO. Heel Vicker says that Triple H didn't need to do all that. Wouldn't fit him. The one time I remember him doing so, he was counted by Randy Orton and hilariously oversold the number. Right, yes, when he jumped from the second rope. And it was a tag match. It might have been him and Ric Flair versus Batista and Randy Orton. And he jumped off the top rope, and the boot was up, and Triple H did the whole stagger. And he said, I'm good. And it take the bump. I know that for a fact because I stole that move in a wrestling match. Heel Vega says, might be shocking, but his favorite wrestler ever is Sting. Not shocking. That's what you like. Let's see. Do we have any other messages? Heel Vega says that Charlotte only gets the hate she gets because she's Ric Flair's daughter. I agree. If she was somebody else's daughter, like John Smith from down the road, yeah, she wouldn't get no hate at all. But he goes, if she wasn't, she'd be touted as the best women's wrestler ever, probably. BC said, wow, from Toronto. Bro, I'm telling you, it's crazy. My number 3 areas in the show is the UK, Canada, and America. Those are the top 3 countries that watch the Tristen Law Show. When you do a YouTube channel, you can look at all the analytics, and I always tell people, if you don't know your biz numbers, you don't know your business. Let me get to some of these calls. Okay, this is the Fernando call. Fernando says, don't play the first one. You know what? I want to play Fernando's first. Nah, let me not play that one. Let me play the next call from Fernando. Let's see what Fernando has to say. Oh, wait, hold on. Let's do it right.
Yeah, it's me, Fernando, again. I didn't like the way I left the message. I stuttered a lot during that, and I don't think I was clear enough. So let me go again. Ray and Dom Mysterio will wrestle at WrestleMania. Dom will defeat Rey Mysterio clean. Rey Mysterio, without giving any of us any kind of heads up or warning or any build to it, Ray will announce his retirement right there on the spot. He will take off his mask and pass it to Ray and offer it to Rey Mysterio, coming to Dom. Dom will accept the mask. They will look at each other for a second and embrace and make up. And Dom Mysterio will, going forward, will wear the mask for the rest of his career. Okay, I like that one. Have a good one, Tristen.
Fernando, I appreciate the phone call. I appreciate the fact that you utilize the time to say, you know what, I'm going to make another phone call because you weren't satisfied with it. You know, because Fernando says that the reason why he had to call back and make another call was because he stuttered a little bit. And that's fine. But it takes courage to just call because Fernando now lives in the Tristen Law Show. He's not just a name that I call, or maybe it's just somebody pretending to be that Fernando from the chat. But I'm going to pretend it's all the same people because it is the same people. But Fernando now lives. He had the courage to call in and let his voice be heard. I'm telling you this now. as a guy that talks and wants to get paid to talk for a living, you have to learn to like your own voice. And Fernando, you're going to get a hand clap for that. So Fernando's question is, well, it's not even a question. He was booking Rey Mysterio. I had that conversation earlier with somebody, and I was telling them that, and I said it a couple of days ago. The Judgment Day is going to turn their back on Dominic Mysterio. Why? Because Dominic Mysterio didn't need them as Saturday night's main event. He smells himself, and he thinks that he smells good. And they're going to turn their back on him, and there's only going to be one person that's going to help Dom. It's going to be Rey Mysterio. But because Dom, being the man who he is eventually, I feel that it's going to culminate into a match. And when Rey Mysterio eventually retires, the only person that should get that mask is Dominic Mysterio, and that's the mask that he should wear out every single day. Because it shows that it's the same exact way that Rey Mysterio took the mantle from his uncle, Rey Mysterio. And now he gets to be the son of Rey Mysterio, el hijo de Rey Mysterio. That's cool, Fernando. I like that. I think, though, that Dom right now is a babyface because he's the person that we love to hate. We love to hate Dom so much because we can't wait to see what kind of hijinks he's going to get into. It's almost like Eddie Guerrero. Fernando, great call. It was great to hear your voice. It was great for you to be a part of Stream-A-Mania. You know what? I'm going to call this Stream-A-Mania I because I'm telling you this, it's going to be coming back again next year. Just know that 973-826-0101, you guys can call that number anytime. You guys, if you guys see the topic of the show before it airs and you want to leave a hot take about the topic, leave it. Call 973-826-0101 to see what you got to say. I got another call here for you. Let's hear what this one says.
This is Hill Vega. I'm calling from Middletown, New York. Tristan, big fan of the show. I think you're doing phenomenal. Congrats on all your subscribers. I looked at the count just before I tuned into the live stream today. I wanted to talk about LA Knight's position, man. I don't know if anybody saw what happened on Monday Night Raw. Punk dropped a promo, name dropped a bunch of people he'd love to face. But LA Knight was nowhere to be seen. LA Knight wasn't mentioned on the program. Now, he might be in trouble for holding up that Jey Uso sign. However, I want to get your opinion on it. Do you think what he did was right? Do you think what he did was wrong? And do you think he's been punished for it? Thanks again, man. Big fan.
Yo, you guys are so damn nice to me. Thank you very much, Heel Vega, for being a part of the family. Yeah, thanks for being a part of the Tristen Law Show family. Do I think that LA Knight got in trouble for holding up a sign? I got a quick story. I want to circle back to that. So I wrestled at a show, and I wrestled at the show in Middletown, New York. Actually, where you're from? Holy crap! So I wrestled a show in your town, right? And what happened was it was at like the fairgrounds where ECW used to be, and there was a bunch of kids out there holding up a sign, and I went and I ripped up the sign. The sign belonged to a kid that was special needs. I didn't know that. He worked so hard on the sign, and he cried, and he was very animated. Shouldn't have did that. This is a lesson to anybody out there who's a wrestler or aspires to be a wrestler. Leave the fan sign alone. Don't go out there ripping up these people's sign. That was an asshole move of me. Ripping up the guy's sign. Sure, never did that. Never did that. If he had come over the barricade and punched me in the face, because I don't think anybody would have stopped him or could have stopped him. If he came over the barricade and punched me in my face, it would have been all right for me. It would have been right. I deserved it. So, the question that Heel Vega asked was, do I think that LA Knight is in trouble for holding up the sign? He wants to get my opinion. Did I think that it was right? I guess sometimes, one of the biggest things that we're told in pro wrestling is to never go into business for ourselves. And what that means is don't go off the script. Don't go off of how we're supposed to do things. When you go into business for yourself, it's a real bad look. If he went into business for himself, that's no bueno. But I don't think that's something that they would really punish LA Knight for, because he still went out there and did business. It was a fan that the sign was It was a sign that the fan was holding. So why should he get punished for that? I don't know. I don't think he should be punished for that. But I think that LA Knight. Yeah. I think that LA Knight, he's going to get his time. It's coming. How much longer does LA Knight have to get screwed until he gets what's finally his? I'm going to make a bold prediction right now. LA Knight winner of the 2026 Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia. I said it. It's not going to be Chris Jericho, because the rumor in the window right now is that they're not flying anybody over. Logistically, it's hard to do surprises in Saudi Arabia. I don't know. Could be a swerve. I don't know. My name is Tristan. I just work here. Let's get another call in. I'm trying to get all the calls in before 11 p.m. 11 p.m. is when this all goes down. Let's get that other call going. Wait, hold on. I lost it. Where's the call at? Here it goes.
Hey, my name is Jared. I'm from Dallas, Texas. I just want to say that I've been wanting Gunther and Roman Reigns for so long, but honestly, I think we should really get Roman and Seth one-on-one at Mania next year. I think that's kind of what I thought we were going to get, but now I think it's going to be Punk, Cody, and Drew in a triple threat, and then we'll get Cody and Roman one-on-one. So you have Punk. So you have Roman and Cody one-on-one, and then you have Punk, Drew, and Seth in a triple threat for the world title. I'm going to be honest, I don't want to see Jay in another world title. Not unless he turns heel. It'd be more interesting. But yeah, I don't know.
Hey, Garrett, thank you for calling all the way from Dallas, Texas. I'm in New York, and he's calling all the way from Dallas, Texas. Thank you so much for your call. So he says that he's been wanting Gunther and Roman Reigns for so long, but honestly, he thinks that we should get Roman at WrestleMania next year. I think that Gunther and Roman Reigns facing each other is definitely inevitable. It's something that is going to happen. But it has to be for some kind of belt. So, but like, cause what God, I wish I could talk to him now. Garrett, if you're in the chat, tell me, what would the story be? What would it be between Gunther and Roman Reigns? Roman versus Seth? Me personally, I'm kind of good on that. Maybe that was the way that they could have given Roman Reigns the World Heavyweight Championship. But remember the last time we gave Roman Reigns a belt? He turned into a belt collector, collected two. They made one and then had to make another belt just to give to somebody else. Instead of saying, hey, Roman, let's give us back that belt. But for WrestleMania this year, do I want to see Jey Uso again too? Me personally, I'm good on Jey Uso. I don't think Jey Uso is going to turn heel though. The reason why I don't think that Jey Uso is going to turn heel is because he makes a lot of money. He goes out there and does the whole yeet thing with the kids. That's all great. But I think it's even great if Jey Uso turns heel because he's going to break a lot of hearts by turning heel. So if I was looking at WrestleMania, granted, Seth Rollins could be back by WrestleMania. So if Seth Rollins is going to be there, it could be Seth versus Braun. I could see Seth versus Braun. That could be the match at WrestleMania. That's where I see Seth Rollins. Roman Reigns, I could see Roman versus Jay if Jay turns heel. And that's what I see. And Cody, man, who's going to go? Cody versus LA Knight. LA Knight's going to win. He's been looking for the World Heavyweight Championship for so long, but he's going to win, and he's going to be the person that goes after Cody Rhodes. Damn it. That's what I think. Garrett, thanks for your phone call, man. Let's see. Let's get another phone call in because it's almost 11 o'clock, almost the end of Stream-A-Mania. My mouth hurts. Oh, lost the call again.
Yeah, my name is Jay. I'm from Cali. I just want to say that since Saturday Night Live is in DC, I think it would be fitting that we see John Cena's final opponent be Daniel Bryan. That's all I wanted to say, man. Have a great night.
Wait a minute. Y'all, hold on, let me ask you a question. Doesn't this caller sound like the last one? Hold on. Let me go back. Doesn't he sound like Garrett?
Hey, man. My name's Garrett. I'm from Dallas, Texas. I just want to say, hey, man, my name's Jay. I'm from Cali. I just want to say
Nah, their voice is different. This is Jay.
Saturday Night Live. Saturday Night Live is in DC.
Let me play this one again because I did talk over it like Funkmaster Flex. But this is Jay calling from Cali, all the way from Cali.
Hey, man, my name is Jay. I'm from Cali. I just want to say that since Saturday Night Live is in DC, I think it would be fitting that we see John Cena's final opponent be Daniel Bryan. That's all I wanted to say, man. Have a great night.
Hey, thank you very much, Jay from Cali, for your phone call. Appreciate you. Thank you so much for your support of the channel. I don't think if it's going to be somebody from AEW, because Daniel Bryan right now works in AEW. If it's going to be anybody in AEW, the person that is going to be in AEW in DC for Cena's last match, it would have to be Edge. But we don't know what John Cena is doing at Survivor Series. Survivor Series is what, in 3 weeks? I'm just freestyling off the top of my head. And we don't know what John Cena's doing. What if that's the moment where we get Edge? While they do the whole tournament to sort everything out, to figure out who's going to be the person that finishes John Cena, that same exact time, we get Edge versus John Cena. It can't be somebody from AEW. It has to be someone from WWE, because if Edge, let's say Daniel Bryan comes over and he could wrestle, he's good, that's all great. He comes over, he beats John Cena, then what? He goes back to AEW and uses that over there. I think within WWE's best interest, it's better off to give them somebody from TNA. But if it has to be somebody from AEW, I think it would be Edge, because there'd be no Edge without John Cena. Edge got his first WWE championship from cashing in the Money in the Bank on Edge, on John Cena. Straight facts right now. If it wasn't for John Cena, there'd be no Edge. With the way that those two were fighting against each other, they needed each other to survive. So if I'm going to pick a final opponent for John Cena and I'm freestyling, I'm being Stretch Armstrong and reaching way out the bag, I'm going to say Edge. But let me tell you who I think it could be. I think it could be Obafemi. People say it's Gunther, that's fine, but it could be Obafemi. The reason why I think that it could be Obafemi is because I think he's the person that attacked Jacob Fatu. Let Jacob Fatu do what he's got to do. Let Obafemi go ahead and win that, and he could hang it on his hat that I retired John Cena. He's now going to be a made man. Stand him in front of the ring in front of Jacob Fatu, who's also, I think Jacob Fatu's a made man as well too. So yeah, that's what I think. Jay from Cali, I appreciate your phone call. Thank you so much for calling today into the Tristen Law. You are part of history. Let's see what we got. Let's ring the phone.
What's up, Tristan? Oh, God. I already messed up. What's up, Tristan? This is Stu from Stu's Views on Wrestling from Pittsburgh. Pretty good show you guys have right here. I don't even know what my question was. God, what was I going to say? One, appreciate you shouting on my channel. And two, what are your wrestlers of the year, both men and women, from AEW, WWE, whatever you want to say? But yeah, who's your men's wrestler of the year and who's your women's wrestler of the year? Thanks.
First off, I appreciate your appreciation. You know, I appreciate the grind. The grind that you got. We got 5 minutes left on the show, so I'm going to run through this real quick. I appreciate the grind that you're running through on your show, and I see what you do, and it's unique. Guys, go check out Stu's view on YouTube. The way that he does what he does, it's different. You know, and I think that as Stu continues to do it, it's going to get polished and it's going to become even better. Stu, don't stop. We all started somewhere. Remember, every building in the world all started with one brick. And I think that you're putting down your first couple bricks. People stay with Stu, see how he's doing, and watch him grow. But okay, so to make this quick, I'm going to pick one wrestler of the year. And my one wrestler of the year overall, because we're running out of time, my one wrestler overall is John Cena. The reason why I say it's John Cena is because John Cena in this past year has given us some gems. We thought John Cena would never turn heel. John Cena turned heel. We thought that John Cena would never be the unseen 17. He became the unseen 17. John Cena, even though he was heel, we still clapped for him because we knew what we were getting. We knew that we were getting some gems from John Cena. So if I'm going to pick a wrestler of the year real quick, I appreciate the phone call. I appreciate the message. You know, maybe something I could do towards the end of the year is do awards. Maybe have Jess and you guys all vote and we can give out awards and stuff like that. But yeah, wrestler of the year right now is John Cena. Let's move on to the next phone call.
Yo, Tristan, this is Brother Contreras, aka BC. That you'll probably have a great time, man. Listen, your show is and became 100% vibe, and I listened to this show as my first time ever. I admit your show is a great shape, and I definitely say 100% vibe. Your show is definitely like quite interesting, but your show is so amazing. So I wanted to give ourselves a shout out to you, man. And this is definitely, I wanted to say to you, keep a good work, man. This is BC, aka Brother Contreras from South Bronx, New York City. And I want to say this is, you are the man. Hello.
Hey, thank you so much for the phone call. I appreciate you. So much for taking the opportunity to take a chance on me and to listen to what I said. Let's get to one last phone call. And it looks like somebody thinks that they're trying to be funny. I'll go ahead and I'll play the phone call for y'all.
Hey, Tristan, this is the voice, Sean Ortiz here. We just wrapped up our second segment on Stream-A-Mania. I want to shout out all the fans tuning in, and I want to let all the fans know that Tristen Law has never beaten me at Uno.
Bullshit.
That's right. Tristen Law has never beaten me, Sean Ortiz, at Uno. For all this and more, be sure to tune in to soon-to-be launching Main Event Conversations with Sean Ortiz, launching in the winter of 2026. And be sure to follow me on linktree.com/Cheyenne the Voice. See you later. Maybe you'll win an Uno. Probably not.
All right, that was Cheyenne. Listen, guys, listen. 5 hours, 5 conversations, 1 community. To every single person who tuned in, who called in, who commented, who shared this on their social media, or even lurked quietly, who just watched and didn't say anything, I want to say thank you. You're the heartbeat of this show. This whole thing started with a love for wrestling, and it's become something bigger by the end of this. This is a space to where you can to where you can feel seen. You can feel seen, you can be heard. To everyone who rocked out with us from hour 1 to hour 5, I want you to understand you are part of history. You are now a part of the Tristen Law Show family. I want to send big love to Jess the Captain for holding it down earlier tonight. I couldn't have done it without you. For Cheyenne Ortiz, thank you so much for being a brother. You know, thank you so much for allowing me to have a platform to where I can help you, you know, reach your goals. And to the fans, you proved that tonight that wrestling isn't just something to watch. You said that it's something that we live. Well, that was Stream-A-Mania. Thanks so much for watching. This is the Tristen Law Show. I'll be back on Monday because I am tired. 5 hours, lots of talking. Golly. Make sure you follow me on social media at The Real Big Tris. Follow Cheyenne at Cheyenne The Voice, and follow Jess at Jess the Captain. I appreciate you guys being here. This is the Tristen Law Show. No, this is Stream-A-Mania, and I'll see you next time.
Flashing red lights, driving it.